Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, interesting video to start my channel on. Hope you enjoy. And if you're coming back, welcome back. Y'all are my people and I love you so much. This is just kind of a weird, like, impromptu video where I'm just gonna process a few more emotions because that seems to be my coping mechanism since 2019. Any deep thing that I needed to process, I'd make a video and then I'd post it. Probably just because if there's anybody else out there going through the same thing, I don't want you to feel alone, because I think I often feel alone. And I think that's why I put it on the internet, because even though my life kind of feels like a shit show because I never know what's going on, I'm hoping that, you know, maybe someone else can find some comfort in in the hot mess express that I have been on for several years now. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know how much you know about me, but basically I left Amway in 2019. It was a highly controlling, scammy, very culty kind of group. And then I started my weight loss journey where I was 352 pounds. And then throughout the course of my channel, I got certified as a health and life coach, and I moved back in with my family in 2020, like December of 2020, because I was going to save money to go back to school in Chicago, and I was going to finish my bachelor's degree. So then in August of 2021, I moved back to Chicago, moved into the freshman dorm hall, and at 26 years old, I was doing my last 2 semesters in school and living with a bunch of very young women, but basically relived college experience, did 2 semesters, still dealt with a bunch of dusty men. Didn't date anybody from the school though, so happy about that because I'm not a cougar in that way. No shame if you are though. Just, I don't know, it felt like barely legal because like the guys that were in our dorm hall was like, they were like 18 and 19, so I'm like, how about we don't do that? Let's not. But I found like some of the dustiest men in Chicago, so that was a lot. And then I graduated like a month ago with my bachelor's of communications. So I just needed to finish my last 2 semesters and then get the hell out of there. But along the way, I decided, you know, mental health counseling seems like something I would be maybe good at or enjoy because I'm so stable and I wanted to spread that with other people. Yeah, so I'm actually staying in Chicago. I'm going to do my master's in clinical mental health counseling. Since graduating and moving out of the dorms, I have been living for the last month in an Airbnb, and today is Tuesday that I'm recording this. On Friday, I'm moving back into like graduate student housing. I'll have my own 1-bedroom apartment. I'll be paying rent like the rest of the adult population. And yeah, I'll be doing a 2-year graduate program for that. So at least there's a little bit of direction there now. But in the process of graduating, I was like 8 weeks out from graduation and getting super anxious about like needing to re-enter, because people don't talk about this, maybe I just haven't been listening to the conversation about when you graduate school and you're living at the school and then you're doing like full-time college courses. Like I was taking 18 credit hours my last semester living at the school. As soon as you graduate, like you're out of a home, you're out of your full-time occupation at that moment, and you need to figure out how you're going to pay rent, and you need to figure out like everything in life as an adult, unless you have a family that you can fall back on. I do have a family that I can fall back on, but I was really trying to avoid doing that because I'm like, all right, I'm 26 years old. I really need to get my shit together. So 8 weeks out from graduation, I start looking for jobs. and got a job at a medical weight loss clinic in downtown Chicago as a weight loss counselor. And if you're new here, you might be asking, like, what the hell is this doing as a weight loss counselor? Well, as I said before, I did get my certification as a health coach, and I have been on my own weight loss journey. I'm 5 pounds away from hitting my 100-pound weight loss mark. So I've lost 95 pounds. And even when I went back to school and continued in like high stress situation, I wasn't actively trying to lose weight, but I have lost since then. I've lost even more weight, like 20 pounds more. So anyway, I didn't feel like a fraud doing this job, even though I had still weight to lose. I guess the reason why I'm filming this now, not just like a life update as far as like, yay, I graduated, but I am currently sitting at the same beach in Kenosha, Wisconsin that I had announced that I was going back to school. And this has been the beach where I have processed so many emotions. I have gotten over so many dusty men. And this is where I am right now to hopefully find some clarity, because yesterday I quit my job. And I quit like I quit. Like, I did not give 2 weeks notice. I packed up my office and I left. And so without making it like a whole story time, basically what it was is like, it's a medical weight loss clinic. I'm a weight loss counselor and I'm seeing patients. Like, that's the verbiage that we use. There's a certain level of integrity that, in my opinion, any sort of health care practitioner, any sort of health related person or counseling related person, like anybody who, you know, really is like working with patients and people who are like paying to, you know, trust their well-being to someone, like there's a certain level of integrity that's above other things, like other occupations. What this clinic did not tell me prior to being hired was that the base salary that had been listed on the job posting was not actually the base salary. That was what they estimated someone would make with sales commissions, which was another thing that I was unaware of, was that I was going to need to make sales. And I didn't find this out until like my first week of training. And that made me hesitate. Like, I almost quit within the first week. I was like, what is happening here? But the more that I understood about the program, the more I was like, okay, I mean, this seems like it could really work, and it is medically supervised and all of that. It's just that the clinic had food that you had to purchase in order to stay on the prescribed program. And so, yeah, I was fine with that. But one thing that I never got training on, and I had asked for training multiple times, was I wanted to see what a consultation looked like in how we were getting people in the doors, how we were getting people like to actually sign up for one of our programs. Because unlike any other medical clinic, we number one, did not accept any insurance. We'd accept care credit and we'd accept health savings account kind of stuff, but we would not accept any sort of like insurance. And so most of these people were paying like out of pocket, and we had to make sales. And I don't think I've ever heard of a medical clinic who needed to make sales, but that was what it was. So I wanted to see what a consultation looked like, to see how we were selling these programs. And they kept telling me that they were going to let me shadow a consultation, and they never did. Like, literally, I worked there for 2 months and I never saw a consultation. And so I started getting patients, and like, at first it was fine. Like, at first I didn't have any problems, but then at some point I started noticing that my patients would come in for their first counseling session with me, and we'd talk about what the program was, and we'd like lay out the foundation of what they were going to be doing on this program. And then it would get to a part where they needed to choose what food they wanted to order in order to stay on the program. And they were unaware that this food was not included in the price of their program. Like, they had just forked out like a couple $1,000s, and realizing that the food is separate from that. And so as their counselor, and my commission is actually like made off of food sales, I had to start making like selling them, reselling them on the program that they had purchased, and reselling them, reconvincing them of the decision that they had made in their consultation that they had just had with someone like literally an hour prior. And that was sketchy. I was like, this is weird. And I even mentioned this to my boss, and like mentioned it to a couple people. I'm like, they're not told that this is a separate purchase? And they're like, oh no, they are. They just maybe are not paying attention. But it was happening to too many of my patients that I'm like, And then the final straw yesterday was the fact that our clinic has had such a hard time keeping up like inventory with all the food that we were supposed to be selling. And it was to a point where we had such little inventory of certain things that there was a day that I had 0 product sales. Not because I didn't have patients who wanted to purchase food. It was because I didn't have the food that they wanted to purchase. And they kept promising that they were going to get more in stock soon and blah, blah, and oh, we're having a shipment tomorrow. And finally, yesterday, I asked again, like, do we still not have this in stock? And they're like, no, and we don't know when we're going to get it. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. Number one, we're selling a program, and I don't think we're telling them everything that they need to know. And number two, we're selling them a program that requires that you purchase the food, and like selling them this program with the promise that we're going to have tools to help them follow the weight loss program. And then we don't have those things. So we're taking their money, and we don't actually have a product to give them. And that was just scam city. You know what I mean? So that's why I quit. I don't know if this is just like me being pretty trigger happy after Amway and realizing that I just don't do well in sales unless I 100% believe in the product or service that I'm selling. Like and I was on the weight loss program as well. Like I was using our own programs, and I lost like 17 pounds in the 2 months that I was there. But yeah, no, it was getting to a point where I was looking my patients in the eyes and seeing myself having been in their exact situation and having been at the end of the line in terms of like hope and effort and wanting to make a change, and also not having a lot of money to do that. So like really trusting someone that the money that I'm spending is going to be worth it. And I'm looking them in the eyes, and I couldn't for another day look at my patients and feel like I was telling them a lie. And I never did lie to my patients. Let's be clear about that. Like, I never did lie to my patients, but it was to a point where it was like, listen, you don't want me working here because I'm just talking shit about this company at this point. Like, I just keep saying like, yeah, I don't know what they're doing. And I'm sorry. And I really hope that we get our shit together soon, and yada, yada. And it was to a point where it's like, all right, well, I either need to quit this job so that I can feel some peace, or I need to forfeit my integrity and keep making these sales and keep counseling patients and not really caring that this company actually can't deliver on the promises that they're making. So I chose the former. I quit. So yeah, that's where I'm at, without an income, still in Chicago. Have an education that I'm still not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with for the next 2 years. And still figuring out my mental health, because let me tell you, my anxiety is through the roof. But yeah, still figuring it out. But I don't know, I'm doing okay. I hope you guys are doing okay. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and let me know if there's anything else you want to hear from me, because I don't know when I'm posting and what this channel is becoming, but yet another thing that I have to figure out. Okay, bye.